The trippy thing about this announcement right here was I just was talking about the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles or the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones the other day. I think I did a video like 2 weeks ago here on my channel talking about, hey, I loved this show when I was a kid. I wish this show was available. If you can get your hands on it, go watch it. You can get the DVDs here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then last night, I'm browsing through stuff on social media, and the announcement pops up on the Lucasfilm Facebook page that the entirety of the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, now known as the Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, and the first four films are all coming to Disney Plus on May 31st for streaming. So the films are a big deal, obviously, and they're doing all this promotion in the lead up to the fifth and final film in Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones franchise, involvement. It was announced, I think last year or earlier this year, they are talking about potentially putting together an Indiana Jones television show, but we don't know anything about that. Harrison Ford is not going to be involved in that. We don't know at what time period it's going to take place in Indiana Jones's life. But considering that we already have the adventures of young Indiana Jones, as portrayed by John Patrick Flannery, in the kind of teen young adult role, I wonder what age bracket they would do because that one of the things about that show is they did such a good job of covering the young version of Indiana Jones and his involvement with all of these fantastical historical figures. The filming took place in locations all around the world. If you haven't watched my video on the adventures of it's the Indiana Jones Adventures of Young Indiana Jones now. It used to be called the Indiana Jones Chronicles. Anyway, it doesn't matter. If you haven't watched that, go out and watch it now because on May 31st when it starts streaming because it's so good. So it leads me to wonder where they might place the In Discussions show in terms of the time period. Who knows? Anyway, I shouldn't be rambling about that other stuff. The important thing here is that they made the announcement that everything about Indiana Jones is coming to Disney Plus starting May 31st for streaming. So you'll be able to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, the everything, like all of the things that I've talked about in the past. This film franchise for me was like the defining film franchise. As much as I love Star Wars, and as much as I loved a galaxy far, far away, Indiana Jones for me was the film franchise that inspired me to go on to do the things that I wanted to do as an adult, traveling around the world, becoming a writer, and exploring ancient cultures. And I didn't quite pursue the path of archaeology like I thought I was going to do when I was 13, 14 years old. But I did ultimately get to do all of the things as a travel writer and a travel photographer, going around the world and doing all these cool things in these cool destinations. And so, scratch that off my bucket list. And thanks to Indiana Jones, because that was the film franchise, that was the character that inspired me to want to do that. So to say that this film franchise has been influential in my life is an understatement. And it's really cool to see it coming to the small screen now, where we can stream it at our leisure all the time, and of course get ready for the fifth film. So check it out, May 31st. I know many people have already watched the films many, many times, but a lot of people out there have never watched the Chronicles of Indiana Jones, the Chronicles of Young Indiana Jones, which is now called The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. And they've got, I'm going to open up a door here real quick. I got a kitty cat trying to come in. Come on, honey. Um, they've got a whole page over here dedicated to it. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. We're going to open that up real quick so you can see it. Again, watch my video if you haven't already done so. Is there a dark mode for this page? There is. Because I talk about this in greater detail in that other video. But essentially, created and produced by George Lucas, this series combines fascinating history with the best in imaginative entertainment, and upon its release in 1992, proved a marvel in educational television unlike anything that had ever been seen before. Across the span of nearly 2 dozen feature-length episodes, the series chronicled the exploits of Indiana Jones as a young man, from world travels as a child to teenage adventures in the First World War and beyond. Such a good show. Each entry brings Indy to exciting locations and encounters with celebrated figures of history as varied as Theodore Roosevelt to Leo Tolstoy. Filmed in over a dozen countries around the world, the series brings cinematic stories to the television screen with astounding production design, period costuming, and digital recreations of historical environments, and a huge cast of star-studded members with actors such as Max von Sydow, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and Daniel Craig. The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones remains a gem of educational storytelling, on top of which they produced that, 94 episode historical documentary series, which they ended up licensing out to the History Channel. Tons of great stuff here. Check it out at your leisure. May 31st, coming to Disney Plus. If this isn't a reason to subscribe to Disney Plus, I don't know what is. Because this, above and beyond all the Star Wars stuff, for me, is just like, sold. Take my money.